War Eagle, War Rapport family. I'm your host, C-Dub. Tonight, we preview Week 3's SEC matchups. T. Frank, our Penn State friend of the show, joins us and returns to help us preview Auburn's big game this weekend. And we perform our Penn State version of Facts or Nah. All that and more on the latest edition of the Midweek Report. Everyone, War Eagle, War Eagle, War Eagle. I'm joined by Ike Jones. B. Will be here shortly. Mike G won't be with us. He's attending a special fundraiser with Bruce Pearl. But we appreciate you guys joining us for the latest edition of the Midweek Report, brought to you by show sponsor auburnsports.com. Guys, please head over there to get the latest intel and information regarding Auburn football, Auburn athletics, and just some good old recruiting news. Shout out to JG Tate and those guys for doing a great job over there at auburnsports.com. Thanks to them for definitely being a sponsor of the War Report. We want to thank you guys for hanging out with us on a Wednesday evening. We gladly appreciate it, but we need you to support us by multiple number of ways. First of all, share this video on social media, guys. You see the hashtag. Please drop that when you're sharing on Facebook or Twitter. Also, while you're here, get the likes up. That helps us with our engagement. If you're new to our channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. I tell the people how they can support us by becoming a patron.
Yeah, man, y'all already know. Membership to the War Rapport, not expensive, but definitely worth it, man. It is $5.99 per month if you want to get to patron level, and that's going to get you all of the goodies. Being a member of the War Rapport means you get to be a part of an exclusive community talking about all the great things. It's particularly on game day. You get to talk about all the stuff that you saw from the game. Those post-game sessions and halftime sessions are members only. If you are a patron, that means you get to have the film breakdowns that we do on Mondays, that we release on Mondays after the game is over with. In addition to being able to do that, you get free stuff, right? We've already got tickets that we're giving away today for the Missouri tickets. Look out for your email. If you are a member and you're not on our email list, go and make sure that you sign up for that. It's in the link to that is in the About section. But we're giving away tickets to the Missouri game. And then next up, of course, we've got the LSU game that we'll be giving away tickets for. You have to be a member in order to be able to get that ticket giveaway or be a part of that ticket giveaway. If you are a member and you have a few extra dollars and you want to gift a membership to someone else, that is something you can absolutely do. You can go to YouTube from a desktop and be able to gift memberships. We've had plenty of people who have done that and given away memberships. We appreciate those who have done that. Even if you're not a member, right now, today, you have an opportunity to win something in honor of the Orange Out. Even though the shirt probably won't get to you in time, I am going to be giving away, or we're going to be giving away, an Orange Get Your Weight Up t-shirt sponsored by War Eagle Oil. You need to hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments to win this tee. Go ahead and put hashtag Get Your Weight Up right there in the comments, and you'll be able to enter today's giveaway. So we're going to draw that right around the 1 hour mark. If you are not here and available when we pull and have your name up there, then I will just keep on trucking and pretend like it never happened. So you need to make sure that you are here and available for us to do that. Yeah.
As I mentioned, Mike G is at a special fundraiser for Bruce Pearl. He may surprise us in a moment, but fellas, how are we feeling really quick before we check with him? How are we feeling about this weekend's game?
Feeling, I don't know yet. Ask me on Saturday. I don't know.
I don't really have any particular good or bad feelings about this weekend, man. Like, it's hard because we don't know what offense we're going to trot out there. There's speculation that we have not seen the totality of what they have planned. They've been holding back these first two games to not give away too much. And then there's those people who feel like, you know, we've got an awful offense and we don't know what we're doing, right? And
Right.
I'm somewhere in the middle based upon just the execution of the simple things. More complexity doesn't mean that it's going to be better. So I am concerned a little bit about just us executing, because there are stretches in games where we look great. And then there are other portions of the game where it's like, what are we doing out here? The first quarter of San Jose State did not give very much confidence to anybody. The second half of that game is a team that I could watch play football for an entire 60 minutes, pretty much any Saturday. So as the competition gets better, we'll see. I am, the word I like to use, or the phrase I like to use, cautiously optimistic. Until I see them not perform or not get W's, then, you know, we're undefeated until somebody beats us. That's how I feel about it. And right now we haven't lost a game.
And it's okay to be nervous or skeptical about something you have not seen, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's bring in Mike G. Mike G actually wants to come in and say something special. And I think he brought a friend with him as well. Let's bring him in really quick. Mike,
hey guys,
how are you, sir?
I'm here with Bruce Pearl, live from Washington, D.C. We're here at the Outlive event to beat cancer. Bruce has a special message for everybody.
Well, War Eagle, everybody, right? You know, cancer, it's not undefeated. You know, cancer is going to get its ass beat. You just got to detect it early. It's really important. So it's a reminder for everybody watching and all the listeners, you got to get screened. You got to get tested. You got to get your blood tested. Ladies, you know what you're supposed to do. Guys, you know what you're supposed to do. And then go tell somebody else to do it. And if you've got cancer, you got a chance to get it treated, you're going to die of something else. And we got to take that for real, and really, you know, really seriously. And then the second thing is, you know, we all know somebody that's battling it. Don't let them battle it alone, man. Don't let them pray for them. Talk to God about them. Encourage them. Make sure that they understand how much you admire the fight and what they're going through. And then there's also folks out there that are willing to help financially. Because some people, when they got cancer, they can't work. They got to go to chemo. They got to go to radiation. There are agencies out there, including ours, the Outlive, that will help pay a mortgage, pay a phone bill, pay something, just to make sure they understand they're not in this fight alone.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
Bruce Pearl, Bruce Pearl, how can people support and help?
I don't think they can
is he
hear
gone?
you. Yeah,
he's gone. Okay.
That works.
Okay, he's gone.
Listen, I don't get a chance.
Okay. I was going to ask him one quick question, but that was awesome. I wanted to tell him this, that just in case we believe, and I know he knows this, but you know, Virginia double dribble as well.
Of course they did.
Never forget, and it's always good to hear from Bruce Pearl as well. So, yeah, nice little tidbit there, guys. Are you ready to talk about some of the other games taking place in the SEC before we get into our game?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's fun to make fun of other teams. So let's do that.
Yes. We haven't lost yet. So yeah.
Especially while we're undefeated, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And even if we do lose a game, it's still fun.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about Georgia. Number one, Georgia goes on the road to South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
One of B's favorite QBs matches up against Georgia's.
Why you gotta
on
do that
Georgia
every time, man? You don't have to do that every time.
The Rattler. Spencer Rattler.
You didn't gave him a fake
name. The Rattler. That's his last name. That's his last name. He's the Rattler.
You're gonna be the Walker now.
The Walker.
I like that actually, B. Thanks.
Texas Ranger.
What do we think about this game, guys? What we thinking?
Georgia by 100 million points.
Yeah, I just don't see a way South Carolina comes away with a win in this game. How Georgia's been playing. Yeah, I got Georgia. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't talk about
the last week.
Yeah, last week we forgot about talk about what the results from last week were.
That we can get into that real quick, guys. Yeah. Before we continue, let's give the scorecard. There's a three-way tie for first, and I am in last place. Hopefully that changes soon. We'll see what happens after this week. Now
you are in second place, see.
Yeah, but that also makes me last.
I mean,
same thing.
Yeah. Super chat from Melandro, Callie, Jean Chambers. Appreciate that. I didn't see your comment, so let us know if you did comment something at us. Cleveland Brown, wheels on the bus go round and around for 13 plus hours of traveling for Penn State. Your thoughts, fellas?
I mean, it's a bus ride. They'll be all right.
They'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It definitely sucks to have to ride on a bus for 13 hours to get to a hotel where, you know, like your travel's going to be awful. But I don't feel bad for them.
Not at all.
They'll be fine, I think. Robert Stacy says James Franklin is 19-18 in road games at Penn State. Auburn wins a close one, 24-20. We'll definitely talk more about that later on in the show. Appreciate the super chat, Robert. Mesa AT-Alien. I'm an alum of both Auburn. Wow. So this is going to be an interesting, fun game for you. She's an alum of both Auburn and Penn State. Cannot wait. Who you got? I'm just curious. Who you rooting for in this game is what I'm curious about.
Yeah. Where is your allegiance?
Who you really repping? We'll find out. Let us know. Youngstown State at number 9, Kentucky. Let's be quick, guys.
All right, Kentucky.
Yep.
All righty. And also, too, I got him here. Mike G had Georgia, and he has Kentucky in that game as well. All right.
All right.
No shock there.
Abilene Christian,
Missouri.
Okay.
Abilene Christian, come on, bro.
Missouri. Okay.
He didn't
All
put
right,
Missouri down, but Mike didn't even put Missouri down in his list. So, but I'm assuming he has to be.
Yeah.
No, because he ain't put it down. We put him down for Abilene Christian.
I'm with it. All right. Number 20, Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. ESPN gives Ole Miss an 87% chance of winning this game. Are they correct? What do you guys think?
Yeah, they're correct. The only game I saw Georgia Tech play was against Clemson early, and it's not because Ole Miss is unstoppable. It's just that Georgia couldn't really take advantage when Clemson couldn't score points. Georgia Tech couldn't. So if you can't help and get up and start making up some ground against the Clemson team, who, don't get me wrong, their defense is very good, but you got to be able to score some points, man. And even though Ole Miss hasn't looked just unbelievable so far this year, I think it only takes a certain amount of time for Lane to get it going on offense. So I'm going to say they win. I'm not saying it's a blowout. I just don't think Georgia Tech has enough offense to match what Lane should be able to do over the course of 60 minutes. So they win. Ole Miss win.
Yeah, I got Ole Miss too.
I got Ole Miss winning this one as well. Vanderbilt on the road against Northern Illinois. Look at that line. B-Will, what do you make of that line?
What I make of that line is that the effort that Vanderbilt showed in week 1 was a little shaky in week 2, and Hartman comes back for Wake Forest in week 3, game 1, and puts up a lot of points on that Vanderbilt defense. So far, it's looking like week 1 was the aberration, that Hawaii is just that terrible. And even though Northern Illinois, I don't have any intel on them because I didn't look for it. This means that they don't trust Vanderbilt's defense.
Right.
Plain and simple. And I understand that. I understand that line. The over-under at 2.5 for wins for Vanderbilt this year was like that was the trendy pick, right? This is it. This is the one that if they're going to get to 3 wins, this will be the one they have to get. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying I'm picking Northern Illinois.
Ooh.
Right.
I thought I was going to be the other one. I'm actually picking Northern Illinois as well. Again, I told you I was going to believe in Vandy until Vandy let me down.
Well, it was Wake Forest.
I don't care who it was.
You thought it was going to beat Wake Forest?
No, that's not the point. They got curb stomped by Wake Forest is the point.
Yeah, 20
if
points.
They had just lost the game, but they didn't just lose.
Define curb stomp for Vanderbilt.
It doesn't matter if curb stomping is curb stomping.
They always get okay, fine, whatever.
But it's not like Wake is like a juggernaut.
Levels to curb stomping when it's Vandy.
No, it's not. My point is that Vandy turned back into the pumpkin, and I'm not betting on the pumpkin.
I'm with them. I'm with them.
You don't have to be with them, B. You don't. Now, I'm with y'all on this pick.
I was about to say that's because C is picking Northern Illinois and he wanted us to go the other direction.
Mike G he really had Bruce Pearl on his brain. He didn't even pick this game either. So
Vandy, we giving him Vandy.
We giving him
Put
Vandy.
it
Well,
down.
he rose with the SEC anyway. So Vandy.
Yeah, that's right. Vandy.
For sure. UL Monroe. Is this their first time playing them since they beat them in Tuscaloosa? Have they played them since then?
Actually, I don't think they've played them again since
Maybe
then.
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Bama's gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna win.
Okay. All right. I was just gonna troll and see would they make this 2 in a row, but okay.
Negative.
I killed that. I got Bama 2. All right. Mississippi State on the road against LSU. And by the way, Mike did have Alabama for that game. Mississippi State, LSU.
This
Narrow.
is a tough one, actually.
This is a pick'em game pretty much. They still don't really trust Mississippi State on the road, even though LSU is really vulnerable right now. What do y'all think about this game? What do you think, B?
I'm taking Mississippi State. I just am. I know last week was a good game for LSU, but it was also, we have no idea. I don't know what more we can learn from your FCS matchups. Don't really tell you who a team is. We'll find out a lot about who we are when we play Penn State. I don't think we found out about who we are from playing our first 2 games. Everybody thinks Brian Kelly really has his work cut out for him. He's not a great fit. He might not be a great fit, but early, there's some continuity to what Mike Leach is doing. Obviously, they were favored by 12 to beat Arizona. They won by like 20 something. They were favored by like 11 to beat Memphis. They won by like 20 something. I think they have it, and I think they believe. And honestly, as much as I tell y'all, believing is dangerous. It's dangerous when somebody really believes that they know what they're doing. So I'm going to take Mississippi State. I think they have more continuity than what LSU has. And it was just 2 years ago when they went in there and just like lambasted LSU to start the season. It was right after the championship season. They went in there and did it. Yeah. So I'm taking Mississippi State.
Yeah. I'm going Mississippi State too, just because this is a very,
I need y'all to start picking like the other teams that I don't plan on picking, so I can try to get a lead here.
LSU is vulnerable right about now. This is if there's ever a time for them to get beat and get got, is now. I'm going Mississippi State.
Yeah, I'm going Mississippi State as well. I need y'all to pick somebody else.
It makes sense, man.
I don't care what makes sense. I need you to go with your heart on something. Stop picking your head.
If it
my heart don't believe in Brian Kelly.
If it makes you feel any better, Mike picked Mississippi State too. I don't know if that helps or not, but just wanted to share that with you. Missouri State, rather, against number 10 Arkansas. Let's be quick here, people. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a world with it where Missouri State pulls off.
Mike's got Arkansas as well. Let's be look at this.
Did we know that Bobby Petrino was coaching Missouri State?
I did once I saw articles come out this week.
Yeah, that's weird. But okay, yeah.
Yeah. This is a ridiculously large spread, but Akron will get curb stomped. Yes.
Will they cover?
Will Tennessee cover?
Yes,
I
think so.
Do they have any stars go down in that Pitt game? Anybody get injured? Because it was really tight, and I didn't watch the whole game, so I don't know. I thought they would win by much more, but they won. So that concerned me a little bit. I know Pitt's a good team, but I probably would not take Tennessee to cover.
That's a huge spread. I mean, 48 points. That's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Akron's bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, we covered that spread last year against Akron, but
yeah,
it's a lot. That's a lot of points, but I still think that they'll do it just because I think that their offense is that good.
Tennessee will win though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think they win too easily. And the question is that spread, is that doable? Anyway, South Florida on the road in Gainesville against the Gators.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Florida on this one. I think Anthony Richardson's that good. I don't think South Florida's amazing or anything. And when I say Anthony Richardson that good, I just think I'll take Anthony Richardson versus South Florida's defense. So I'll go.
Right.
I'll go Florida.
Same here.
Same.
Mike picked Florida as well. So I think we're all in agreement so far. Has anyone deviated?
No,
not yet.
terrible.
We don't know
If
what
Mike was here, Mike would have picked against us for the sake of strategy.
Out of pure pettiness, he would have picked something that we.
Yeah, he would have gotten in last place. Dang it. All right. Number 13, Miami on the road against Texas A&M. Now, this is a very interesting line.
I agree. This is an interesting one.
Very interesting line. All right, B, go ahead. Just go ahead.
I want this man to lose. I want him to lose. I want Jimbo Fisher to lose. I want the alarms to be on full alert. I want the heat on this man's seat to rival what they made it to be out for Brian Harsin after a 500 season in year one. He's gotten away with it for a long time. It took the Appalachian State loss for the ire to be on Jimbo in the way that it should have been after the years of mediocrity he's had. I thought 8-4 this year, but if he loses this one, it could be like 6-6. It could be like 7-5. All this money for the coach, all this money for the players, and you come out here and lose to Appalachian State and then Miami in back-to-back weeks. This could be magnificent. I want this. I don't. Could Jimbo correct course here with quarterback and make the right pick? Sure. I am wishing on a star like Jiminy Cricket for this man to lose 2 games back to back. I am picking Miami out of sheer hate. Miami beats Jimbo and Texas A&M in College Station.
Out of hate.
Hate.
I'm not really picking out of hate. I just don't see how you correct and fix your offense in 6 days.
Excuse me. So some of the whispers when they announced Haynes King were that it was a what do you call it? It was the boosters pick. The problem that we thought may have been speculated may have been a problem here with Bo Nix and Gus Malzahn going there. It's like, you play my guy. You play my guy because I'm telling you to pay my guy, and I roll this thing. When you're looking at possible failure to this extent, maybe they let Jimbo make a change. Max Johnson is clearly a better quarterback. All he has to do is make that change, and then I think all of the most immediate problems with their offense probably go away. I'm not putting it past them to let him make that change because they looked that bad last week. 7 offensive points against a team who had just given up 63. Unexcusable. So I think they may let him make that change, but I want him to lose even with making the change to Max Johnson because he's a very bad football coach. And I think some of the culture will start to erode there if they have 2 straight losses. So I'm really hoping it all falls apart for them. I'm really excited.
The amount of giddy that you have about the potential of Texas A&M's downfall under Jimbo Fisher is hilarious to me.
Don't let nobody tell you can't hate nobody into failure, because I have done it. I have done it. I have brought it to fruition.
I'm going Miami here as well.
What? Stop, y'all.
Stop what?
Stop picking the stuff I'm going to pick because I need to win the challenge. If we all pick the same thing, it doesn't matter.
You're trying this year?
No, I mean, I'm going to stop trying by the end of the year. Like, once it don't matter for us, then I ain't going to care no more.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Mike has Miami too.
Golly.
So we don't have his Vandy pick.
That means he's picking Vandy. And he's picking Abilene Christian. Bam. Mike's down 2.
Joe Kyle. Appreciate the super chat, buddy. He chats. Do you guys use the spread making picks? Seems like you go straight up. How come?
Well, first of all, it's just so wildly unpredictable. All our scores would be just nonsense here if we were picking spreads. But on top of that, I got a segment. It's not a segment, it's betting with B Will. So the warreport.com's website, it is live. I publish all our picks. My picks for SEC games that's against the spread, even some point totals as well, on there on Saturday mornings. If you follow us on Twitter at the War Rapport, you'll see me publish it. I also put out a poll for each SEC pick that says, hey, what do you, the people watching the games, what do you think is going to happen? Put together a small ticket with the picks that the audience thinks is going to happen. So maybe one weekend everybody will get lucky and we'll have all the right picks. But that's where you can find some really detailed, in-depth picks on the spreads. Right now, I'm the only person who pays that much attention to the spread, so I'm the only person who covers it in betting with B Will. Here is just more fun, especially once we get into the conference play. Who's gonna win gets a little more dice. Just straight up picks gets dicey enough to create some separation. So that's what we stick with on here.
That, and I don't know nothing about betting enough to even try to pick against spreads. And I mean, I know what it means because B Will did a great job of explaining it to me. I'm not diving into that at all. Yeah, wins, losses, that's as much as I'm gonna give you.
That part. All right. I call it Saba.
Okay.
That'll work for y'all? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Calzada walks on for the first snap in murders. First games were bluffs constructed by Harsin. What TF would your reaction be? Just kidding, obviously.
I would say
I think it'll be TF. Like what? TF?
Yeah,
I would probably be like, what was
no live snaps? Just gonna walk straight out onto the field. No first team snaps during the week. Just I'd be like, what huh?
Bruh,
that's exactly. Yeah. I would look at my. We've already announced starters for the game. Everything. He would just have to be playing the ultimate poker match. He's not even number 2 on the depth chart. Yeah.
D Lev says, I hope the majority of Penn State fans will be in the nosebleeds. I want them all up top. The fans, bands, cheerleaders, and mascot. He'll put the coaches up there too. Tell us how you feel, D. Tell us how you really feel. Bro. I want all of them up there. War Eagle back at you, man. Bankroll. I need to see B Will on a player haters ball type episode for Jimbo.
Hey man, we got that short. Oh, ain't that enough for you? There's a short right now of the rant B Will had from Sunday regarding his favorite Jimothy T. Fisher.
And the T is for
trash.
There you go.
You know, maybe once we advance a little more, we do a little more growing. We can get all in the same place, do some production type stuff. That'll be fun. That'd be a lot of fun to do stuff like that.
So let me ask you this, B.
Mm-hmm.
If A&M loses again, let's say you manifest A&M into a 1-2 start. Can people anticipate a special rant coming from you this weekend? Can you make good on bankroll, or you just got to feel it?
No, I got to feel it, but honestly, the ire was because he wasn't getting enough heat. If he loses this weekend, then I'm just sitting back and enjoying the show. I am now Game of Thrones was so long ago. The queen who blew up the sept, and she's just at her window watching it like this. That's me this weekend if Jimbo loses. I've done my job. I'm not even hating no more. Now it's just enjoyment. That's all it is.
Melanie Ashford, she says, thanks for my t-shirt, War Rapport. You are most welcome. It was good running into you this past weekend as well, Melanie, for sure. War Eagle to you.
War Eagle, Melody.
Corey Weber says, War Eagle fan, what's good? Ready for these orange jerseys, not letting Mike G kill my dreams. Guys, is this a thing?
I have no idea.
It might be. If it's not, then they've teased it too much. And I think I saw
they haven't teased a jersey at all, though. They've teased
Who's they?
Here's what they did. The athletic department, the Auburn Football account tweeted the orange jersey. It was sitting on top of something
with some orange stitching. I saw it. Yes,
but why even tease that much if you're not going to follow through?
It's the best way to get people into a frenzy.
It's provocative. It gets the people going.
I think it might be happening.
Maybe we'll see.
We'll see. You think the fans? Well, it's all orange, right? Are we supposed to be wearing all orange? That
Yeah.
Yeah, just put on, just look like you're a prison yard person with the orange jumpsuit. We should just get all Auburn burnt orange jumpsuits coming to the game. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm triggered all of a sudden. Austin Berryhill. If you was Calzada, would you hit the portal or stay on the bench? I personally don't think he will play since we have Finley and Robbie.
If I were Calzada, what would I do? I don't see a whole bunch of reason why he should transfer again. And if he does, where's he going to go? Like, transferring has to make sense for a couple of reasons. You have to think that you have a reasonable chance to start wherever you're going, right? And then secondarily, he's got to be in a position where, and I don't know how the transfer rules are going to work with his transfer, where he could have immediate eligibility, right? Because he only has so much eligibility left to utilize. So if he goes somewhere and then he'd have to sit a year or graduate, he'd still only have one more year to play, right? And so that means wherever he goes next, he's got to be the starter. He can't be in a competition for the starting position. He needs to be, hey, man, if you come here, we're playing you today. I don't know where those opportunities currently exist for Zach Calzada, and there's a lot of football left to be played in this season. So I don't see really a purpose for him transferring right now, unless, again, he has a guarantee to start somewhere next season because he can't play this year. So he might as well play it out.
Right.
I mean, listen, our second string QB got injured towards the end of the season. Would have been great to have a Zach Calzada on the bench a year ago. So you just never know. You just never know how this will play out. So I wouldn't. We just had to see. It's only 2 games in. We will surely see. Jazzy Joe says, who's going to the game? It will be Ike.
Yeah, I will be back in the building.
Covering for us. So that's who will be. The question is, are you going to the game, Jazzy? Let us know,
already
man.
said he was coming to Penn State. This is the one where
that's right. That's the one he said he
this
wasn't
weekend,
going.
and
Yeah,
he was like,
okay.
I ain't going to your little funky wedding. I'm gonna be at the Penn State game. Props to Daniel Speller for the gifted memberships, throwing a couple of gifted memberships out there. Appreciate that.
For sure. Guys, we also want to hear from you as it pertains to any upsets. Predicting any upsets this weekend, let us know in the comments, especially those of you who are watching on replay. Guys, do us a favor. If you're on social media, share this video, use the hashtag, smash the like button. Let's get the thumbs up, guys. Get the thumbs up. Help us with our engagement. And if you're new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button and welcome. We want to take time to pause to acknowledge the sponsors of the War Rapport.
This edition of the War Rapport is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, War Eagle Oil. War Eagle Oil is your #1 place for all of your motor oil and related products. For more information, visit wareagleoil.com.
Yeah, always props to everybody who sponsors the War Rapport. Even if you aren't a business that wants to be able to advertise on the War Rapport, you can help get us in a place where we're making all the money, and then we could buy burnt orange Lambos and pull up to the game. I don't know how that benefits you at all. That's not a good pitch. Let me try that again. You can be in a position. You can be in a position to help us continue to give you all this great content, so we don't have to go get jobs and not have the availability to do this. Yeah. So $5.99 per month is going to get you to the ultimate level. That is the patron level, and you get all of the film breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. Being a member lets you get into the live stream, halftime, and post game with the reactions. And just being a member allows you to access to getting things like tickets to games. We're doing the drawing today for the Missouri tickets. So if you weren't a member before the live today, you won't get a chance to be in on this drawing, but LSU is on the horizon. You can get tickets to this game if you are a member. We're giving away a pair of tickets to that game, so make sure you are a member. And we have a way to get in contact with you because You guys see your YouTube names. I have no idea how to get in contact with you with that. So email address is what's going to be the best way for us to be able to do that. As Daniel Speller has already done for today, you can
Daniel.
gift memberships to other people. So you can do that by going to your desktop. There's a place where you can go and gift a membership if you want someone else who is a frequent follower of the War Report to be able to get in on the on the memberships to the War Report. You can give them a month free on you. So we appreciate those who have done that and those who have taken advantage of those gifted memberships. Today we are giving away a t-shirt. The orange Get Your Weight Up t-shirt is going to you in honor of the Orange Out this weekend. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments. Sponsored by War Eagle Oil. WarEagleOil.com is your place for motor oil and motor-related products. Go to WarEagleOil.com. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments. We will be doing that drawing here in about 25 minutes or so. You have to be present to win. If you aren't present, then I don't know what to tell you. You're just going to be crying when we move on from your name and you see it later. All right. That's it, man. We're gonna get into this next game, man, because this is what everybody came to see. So let's get into it,
guys. We have a big matchup. In case you've been under a rock, big matchup this weekend. Auburn's true first test of the season. Number 22 Penn State comes into Jordan-Hare on Saturday. That will be a 2:30 kickoff. For those who won't be in attendance at Jordan-Hare, you can find that game on CBS. The line favors Penn State, but just narrowly. Season history, Penn State leads this head-to-head 2-1. Of course, we know what happened last year. Penn State pulled away 28-20. We want to know, is there going to be a difference this time around? Lots to talk about, but to help us talk about it, we're going to bring in returning guest, our good friend, T. Frank Carr, who's film analyst for BWI and host of the BWI Daily Edition on YouTube. T. Frank, welcome back. Welcome back, good sir. You're muted, by the way.
I was in the back. I knew I was going to do that, but I was thoroughly enjoying the show while I was listening on mute. So I appreciate you guys having me on. And the only thing I don't appreciate is looking at that photo from like 6 years ago and how much more hair I have.
Hey man,
it's been a rough year.
As a guy who is completely bald,
yeah,
I understand, but I've been bald for a very long time. I've gotten used to it.
But you guys look good. Here's the thing: is like the in between stage is the worst part. You
that's
look
why you
good.
just gotta let it go, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm tipping on that point. So that's just what we're like. When's the day? When's the day it all goes?
You know what? That day is the day of your choosing, T. Frank. Because I told everybody who asked me, bald is not bad. Balding is terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta let it go.
I mean, and luckily you're part of the beard gang, so you do have the ability to balance it out.
You have to.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, once we get to that point, it's all going to be the same length from head to chin. It's going to be the whole. It's gonna be just a one all the way around.
I feel you.
Yeah, I can't do what you guys do and grow a beard. So I asked the Lord, do not let this go, and He gave me locks. So you just gotta get it how you live. You know what I mean? Got to get it how you live. But Thomas, listen, T. Frank, talk to me about Penn State. Your thoughts about Penn State so far. 2 weeks in, they had an amazing come from behind win against Purdue, first game of the season. Had a bit of a breather against Ohio. The offense went wild against them. Your thoughts about Penn State so far in this season?
Well, the season opening game is the third Big Ten opener in a row. 2 were planned. 1 was pandemic related. So they're getting used to opening against Big Ten opponents and having really important games right out of the gate. And they've all been almost exactly the same, coming down to the very last play, coming down to critical moments. So Penn State's getting used to these cardiac wins and losses to begin the season. And I think that's got them battle tested for this game. Not to say that going down to Alabama and in the elements there isn't going to be its own unique test, but with a 15th year quarterback, I was looking at the roster for Auburn, and don't you have a left guard that's been there since like 2 presidential administrations ago. Those two
Brandon
guys can
Council
open up.
has been in college for a while, but he's a transfer. He's only been at Auburn for 3 years. So
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's been in. I think council's the perfect name because he's going to sit on some council at some point. He's been there so long.
Yeah.
My terrible stand-up routine aside, Sean Clifford is been through all of these environments. So I don't think the moment's going to get to him. And the question is the Auburn defense going to get to him? Because he turns into the Bo Nix in this game. So what guy is showing up here? Because Sean Clifford can be the guy that is surgical and is rhythmic and melodic and gets into and out of good plays, or he can be the guy that throws a random interception in the middle of a game for no reason that gets returned for a touchdown and puts your team behind. So that's really the question. James Franklin has called his offense uneven at times, and truthfully, it starts from the top. It starts from the quarterback of he's a bit of an uneven player at this point, and he's 6 years in, so that's what he's going to be. Mm-hmm. Who shows up from that perspective, that's going to tell me a lot about how this game goes from Penn State's perspective.
B, go ahead and pull up the matchups that we have. We actually are going to start with the Auburn offense. Actually, let's start with Penn State. Let's start with Penn State. Since we've already been talking about their offense.
Yeah. You hear me guys better, by the way?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
0 for 2 to start the show. Didn't have the mic on.
You're here.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, and we could hear you. It's just a lot of room tone. So
yeah, gotcha.
So Sean Clifford, he returns. He's thrown almost 500 yards so far.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say about Sean Clifford is he looks like what you would expect from a very experienced quarterback at this point. Now, granted, his career he's been kind of up and down, but I saw a lot from him in that Purdue game, especially that last drive. He looked like he's been there before. And to me, that just strikes me as a type of quarterback you're going to want to take with you on the road with your team in a hostile environment. But your thoughts about Sean Clifford, the fan base's thoughts about him in his this is his final season, right? Or is he has about 40 more years of eligibility?
Unless he blackmailed somebody, I don't know. No, I think this is definitely his final season. The big time throws really aren't there. The great decisions aren't there, because even against Ohio, he was making good plays and good reads and stable decision making. My quarterback coach isn't going to get mad at me type of decisions, but when you look at the big throws, maybe backside against cover 4 where you've got a man matchup that you like, not looking at those. The ability to push the ball into certain situations if you see a blitz and you can replace with a throw. If you do that quickly and you make that decision, then he eats the ball and you get a sack, which is a right decision, but was there a better one to make? And then, in the game against Auburn, I just thought he threw off his back foot the entire game. And until that this is the narrative thing of football, is until that final drive, I don't think he was performing up to the level that Penn State needed. And I said going into the game, if you make that a contest of 6-year quarterbacks between Aiden O'Connell, who was great for Purdue last year, and then put up 59 points the next week, and you make it between him and Sean Clifford, that's the advantage for Purdue. And it became that, and Sean Clifford pulled one out in that drive and operated that very well in that 2-minute situation. But it was my opinion, based on watching their defense, that should have been more of what the game was like. And I know they scored 35 points, and I know I'm being overly critical about a player, but the fact is he is what he is. He is not going to be a guy that is going to take over too many games and win them for you with advanced level quarterback understanding and accuracy, decision-making, and throwing guys open into windows. He will do some of that some of the time. But that's really the story has been for Penn State. When is 5-star quarterback Drew Aller going to take over? Because he looks the part and he performed the part against Ohio. Mm-hmm. And he played with the starters. They got him some playing time after halftime with the starting offensive line and some of the starting receivers. And he performed. He made it look easy. Now, again, it's Ohio at home in the home opener. It's not on the road against Auburn. But I think for most fans, there is one of my coworkers coined it well, Sean Clifford fatigue. and the next guy has to be the guy that takes you somewhere. And it's just, is that going to be this year? And is it going to be a Jalen Hurts to a Tagovailoa situation, Trevor Lawrence, where the 5-star comes in and replaces the starter? Or is Clifford going to keep his job throughout the season? So it's not just the idea that, Sean Clifford is what he is. There's other guys behind him now that people want to see and that have legitimate talent.
Do you think that, I mean, obviously a strong running game helps any quarterback and helps any offense. One thing to make of note, I see that Katron Lee or Katron Allen is the am I looking at that? No, Kevon Lee is the starter here, but it's actually Nicholas Singleton who's been kind of the breakout running back for this group. How much of him do you expect to see against Auburn?
So that's really the stories. You got a bunch of Penn State had a very good class of 2022, and 5-star quarterback and a 5-star running back in Nicholas Singleton, where he had 179-yard rushing on 10 carries. In over 2 years, Penn State has not had a 100-yard rusher. He finally broke that, and he broke that in a big way. So Kevon Lee is the starter. He's a dependable veteran. He does a lot of things well, but there's just a difference. And the comparisons, even from myself, and I try to be, film analyst, analytical, looking at things in non-emotional terms, I can't help but start comparing him, Nick Singleton, to everybody that's good. Internally, people are like, I remember Saquon Barkley making runs like that. I work for On3. On3, our scouting director, Charles Power, compares him to Nick Chubb. Looking at him in person, he's 217 and he's skinny. So he's going to be a big back. He's physical. He runs hard. Not only does he run like a 4.39, and I'm being nice, like he's a legit 4.3 at 217, but he will bury his head in your chest if you're a linebacker or a defensive end. It doesn't matter. He runs power through contact. Maybe needs a little more wiggle, but when he's finished, he's going to be another top pick in the NFL draft. So Penn State has that juice in the backfield again, finally, to help Clifford out, who has not had that the last couple of seasons. So that's a huge benefit for the team. And then Katron Allen is another high 4-star player. He's a sophomore. Like, he's a true freshman, but he came from IMG Academy, so he understands blocking schemes. He can catch. He can find the actual point of attack on a inside zone instead of just doing what every other running back in America does, which is I'm going to cut back on every play.
Right.
So they've got a good stable of running backs this year, and Nick Singleton is the guy that's going to break out and make big plays, while the other guys are dependable, reliable, good football players.
Is that the Beaton? You have a question, man?
I wanted to kind of get into Clifford a little bit, because I remember last year you came on and you said that you had a term for what Bo Nix was, and also what Sean Clifford was, and that was a non-viable starting quarterback. Yeah. Now, we don't have the same guy anymore, but you have the same guy. And so I was very eager to hear how you assessed him in these first 2 weeks, because you got the same guy. But I mean, I watched the Purdue game. I only watched the scoreboard for Ohio, right? So I was like, maybe you turned the corner, maybe 5 years is it. But you seem to still be on that, hey, he's still the same guy, but the team has performed well. So how do you view, it's 2 parts. When you see Will Levis getting big wins and playing well, because I know he came from Penn State, and so you go, man, we could have had that guy. Does that cross your mind, or are you, I guess, settled in the fact that, look, this is who we have. At least we may have something in a layer coming behind him. I am at least satisfied with Clifford. I guess it depends on how the season plays out, right?
Well, so first off, like, I'm looking at this from an evaluation standpoint, not necessarily from like a fan standpoint. And I've been watching Sean Clifford, I think, since the dawn of time. Like, I woke up in the morning. It's kind of a Groundhog Day situation. I've been watching him for so long that I wake up, I watch Sean Clifford, and then I brush my teeth and go to, that's the situation. So I would like something else to see. I'd like something else new to review. But the Will Levis thing is another sore spot for Penn State football fans. Absolutely. There was very little evidence that Will Levis was going to be what he was when he was at Penn State. Right. He had some opportunities to get on the field, and he was kind of a run-first guy. And he did not seem like somebody that wanted to throw the football as an instinct. Now, some of the things are there, and I went into a long breakdown of going all the way back to his high school film, looking at him, in his time at Penn State, and then what he became at Kentucky. And the offense there for him is perfect because they incorporate a heavy dose of his run game, his ability as a quasi fullback, but he also has great mechanics, a strong arm. And to me, the thing about him is the willingness to stay in the pocket. He's always had that when he actually throws the football, but it was understanding where the ball should go, the timing of the play, those kind of important quarterback DNA things were the part that he seemed to struggle with, didn't really know what he's looking at early on. And that's the part that's changed. And that's unlocked a lot of these things for Will Levis, where at least last season, I haven't watched any of his film this year. Previously, the inaccuracies downfield, the aggressiveness to throw the ball, which is a double-edged sword for him, that was there before, but he became more accurate in those plays and made better decisions. So from that perspective, I'm not somebody that's going to kill a coach for playing the guy that they know is dependable. And James Franklin and Sean Clifford have been tied together for a long time. Sean Clifford is a great leader, great locker room presence. Everyone follows him. And, when things are good and you've got a good offensive line and good everything else, he can be a good player. But when things are bad, and they were bad the last 2 seasons, he is the product of the environment. So you get a better environment, and that's what Penn State has this year. We'll see. But yeah, the Will Levis thing for Penn State fans especially is kind of a hard pill to swallow, considering he likely will be a first-round pick, and Penn State hasn't had a first-round pick quarterback since Kerry Collins. So it's been a while.
Yeah. Wow.
When you look at this graphic here, T. Frank, what is the very important matchup that you're looking to see on the Penn State's offensive side of the ball? What is a position or what is a skill area that you're looking at when you say this needs to be productive in order to give us a good shot at winning?
So the caveat is I've studied the defensive scheme for Auburn and how it's changed since last season and some of the new wrinkles, but I haven't really gotten into the front seven yet. That was on my to-do list today, and then, bunch of other things happened. So unfortunately, I can't speak too much to the offensive line versus the defensive line. But I do think, and not to beat this sorely dead horse, but the coverage that and the plan that Auburn came in with last year, where they were going to play soft coverage. They weren't going to do a whole lot to confuse or be complex or blitz. No stunts, no crosses, nothing to confuse the offensive line. That played perfectly into what Penn State needed. So to me, what's the plan this year? Because I've seen more aggressiveness, more zone blitzing, a little bit more too high safety, not so much just playing that cover 3 look. So is that going to confuse the offensive line and Clifford? And then, I've seen kind of the PFF numbers. I've seen the reputation of the front seven, that they're going to be stout and they're going to be good against the run. Pass rushing, Penn State has better offensive line play this year. Olu Fashanu is going to be another borderline superstar player. He's the number 1 rated pass protector according to PFF. He's given up 0 pressures, 0 sacks. He has had not a lot of work to do because they're good pass rushers. So I'm expecting good there, but right tackle Caden Wallace and some of the interior players have been up and down in pass protection. I'm assuming Penn State's not going to run the football very well in this game. They have not been consistent run blockers. It's going to be up to Nick Singleton to break a run outside the formation, outside the scheme. He can do that, but that's, again, where I need to dig into the outside linebackers and the players in the front seven and say, Nick Singleton in space, is he going to get it done? That would be my question to you guys is, what's the athleticism like of that front seven? Can they chase a guy who is, as like I described with Singleton, can they chase that guy down before he gets started?
Yeah, I think we've got a ton of speed on this defense. Guys like, Owen Papo is just, he runs like a freaking wide receiver. The question is going to be the same question I had last game with him. When he gets there, is he going to be able to get him to the ground? Like, plenty strong enough. Sometimes he misses tackles though. So it's going to be about him just getting there and wrapping up. But outside of that, the speed around the edges are definitely good. That's the one thing I've been happy with Auburn's defense so far in the front seven. It's just the discipline, misdirection, and trying to, breaking contain hasn't been an easy proposition against Auburn so far, specifically in the run game and with mobile quarterbacks, right? We haven't had a mobile quarterback in these first 2 games. They were capable, hasn't gone nuts on us. So been very disciplined thus far this season and making sure that they're just being in their rush lanes and not over pursuing, but pursuing pursuing to the point of being able to gain tackle as well. Not a lot of just one-on-one plays and space having to be made. So, and they've had really good screen recognition, right? So that's the thing that I've been the most impressed with the front seven is their recognition of screens. Haven't been getting burnt by screens very often so far.
Yeah, and I was going to say, in the Monday presser, they give out this info. We are still the best run defense in the conference as of week 2. So even though we've given them some pass plays, we let some running quarterbacks pass on us, honestly, their ability to run really just forced us into zone, and we got picked apart a little bit. So the pass defense numbers look bad, but I don't think Clifford will or should scare the defense so much where they have to play zone and have to account for somebody that's as quick as the quarterbacks we played for the first 2 weeks. So I'm interested to see how they play. I'm not sure if you kept up with us last year, but once we played the defensive game that we played against Bama, then everybody looked back on that Penn State game with a whole lot of questions like, what in the hell? If we could do that all year. So my guess is that, I mean, these coaches have seen that. They knew what they had at the end of the season, and they may not have known what they had early last season. But now they know. A lot of the personnel is still there. So I am just as interested in you. What are they going to do, and who are they going to send to do it? I'm kind of excited about that prospect.
Yeah, and what I will also say, too, to B's point is we showed a little bit more in week 2, but for the most part, we've been very vanilla in terms of what we want to show. So there's no telling. We could see some different Auburn defense in terms of how they want to attack. So I'm curious to see if they continue to just roll out the same game plan they rolled out a year ago, or are they more aggressive? Do they come after the quarterback? I'm interested to see what they do. So definitely looking forward to that. Let's flip it a little bit real quick, B, before we get to the drawing. Let's talk specifically about the Penn State defense. Kind of a quick assessment so far of what you've seen from the defensive side of the ball, T.
So this has been a learning experience for me when it comes to this defense with Manny Diaz, because he's for years and years and years, it was Brent Pry, and before that, Bob Shoup, Brent Pry, they were all on the staff together with James Franklin at Vanderbilt. So Manny Diaz coming in is it's a different system. James Franklin has been pointing to how similar it is to what Brent Pry did. But I said this before, that's like saying that tomatoes and spaghetti are the same thing, like spaghetti sauce. Sure, I mean, if you want to be philosophical about it, but Manny Diaz does a bunch of things. So for me, the first 2 weeks has been learning what those things are, how they function, and what he's trying to accomplish with that. So I think stylistically, it's going to look very different from what you saw last year. He's a very aggressive coach. I said this earlier today to one of the Penn State football players that I think if he could, Manny Diaz would send the Nittany Lion after a quarterback.
Yeah,
he will blitz
he's definitely a blitz guy. He's going to leave his corners out there which they're talented corners. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But Manny Diaz is not afraid to send the house at a quarterback.
So I'd say in that context, the thing that has been really behind has been the efficiency of the blitzing, the efficiency of making sure that when you're running at the line, you're getting a quality rush. So I think there's a little bit of newness there from a blitz perspective for some of these guys, because, Sam linebackers, slot corners, safeties, everyone is learning how to blitz, I think, at a higher rate than they have in the past, where defensive linemen, that's their money. That's their job. They know how to be efficient with their timing, with their hands, with their path to the quarterback. And that was over the first 2 weeks. What I picked up on is if you're going to stunt or you're going to have a crosser between your linebackers, you need to take the most efficient path. And there's been a little bit of that. And then the timing of everything, making sure if you're blitzing from depth that you get there. So that's going to be something I watch in this game is, are they going to bring it after TJ Finley? And on the back end, are they going to give him easy enough reads where he knows what he's looking at? Because when I watch him on film, I don't think he knows what he's looking at half the time. And if you give him just man coverage, you know, he's a big, strong quarterback. He can throw the football. He's got some good accuracy where he's put it on the money to some of the guys against San Jose State. There's a good seam route he threw where it was up to the tight end that I was really impressed with. So what's the balance there of trying to confuse a quarterback that has shown on film that he doesn't process information extremely well without putting your guys out of position, something they're not used to doing? So to me, that's what I'm watching for in this game is how does Penn State decide to attack TJ Finley when he does throw the football? That's going to be where I think if they can get an interception, a sack, something like that, they haven't been able to get to the quarterback because everyone's been throwing the ball quickly. Does he hold on to the ball or does he give them the football?
Yeah. So I have a question here. So, I mean, I know that the defensive backfield is full of studs for Penn State. They've played well so far this year. Michael Porter Jr. Just really been an outstanding guy on the outside. But who is the guy up front? We know PJ Mustipher, traditional run stuffer. He's been a stalwart on that defensive line. But who's the other guy this year? And we talked a little bit about this on the space before the season got started, but is going to be that pass rusher. You need to watch out for him in the pass game. If Manny Diaz isn't going to blitz, right? Like we're just going to rush our front four. Who's going to be that guy that Auburn fans would say, man, he really was he's a wrecker up there.
Yeah. So first thing is PJ Mustipher tore his ACL against Iowa a couple weeks later. So he's been returning from that injury. And this is, you know, it'll be almost a year during this game for him coming back from that. So that's been a huge thing is he is their major run stuffer up front. He hasn't really had to do a lot of that in the first 2 weeks because two pass heavy opponents to start the season. This is going to be a test for him of how healthy is he? What sort of run shape is he in? Because he's never been like a great take on double teams, nose tackle type of guy. Right. He's big, but he's quick. He moves well, and he's disruptive. So is all of that back? And are you going to be able to do that systematically and regularly against a zone-heavy team that wants to run the football? But as far as the pass rush goes, Chop Robinson from Maryland, 5-star, 4-star, however you had him, high 4-star, super talented pass rusher. He transferred from Maryland, and he has been a disruptive force for the Nittany Lions, both in the run game and in the pass game. 244, little undersized, but I think he's actually getting bigger as time goes on. Playing a full-time defensive end. I love the way he plays. He gets on the edge of tackles. He plays bigger. He plays through contact well, and he's got nasty speed and get off. On the flip side, Penn State's other defensive end, Adisa Isaac, is also coming back from a serious injury. He missed the entirety of last season with it, and he, said he's getting close to full strength. He's another explosive athlete, super fast, but my question has always been, what else is there other than the speed? And he showed me some things on film that I think are good in terms of pass rushing moves he's been working on while he was gone and some maturity to his game. But really, right now it's Chop Robinson, and that's it. So that's the question for Penn State is, if they're blitzing, are they efficient? And when you blitz, you're creating all these one-on-one opportunities. Are the defensive linemen going to take advantage of that? Hakeem Beamon is a penetrating 3 technique, super explosive himself, and he hasn't been consistently making an impact. So which one of those guys, if any, will step up? I tend to think that it's going to be Chop Robinson and then pressure from the edge, gotcha. From blitzing and from zone stuff.
Yeah. Ike, what is one of the biggest concerns you have? Of course, we've talked kind of early on about our concerns with the offense, but how critical is first and second down going to be for the Auburn offense in this game, knowing what we know to be true about Manny Diaz and how he likes to run his defenses?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is going to be how we handle the blitz just overall. Our blitz pickup, and then whether or not we'll have any creative ways to get our running backs in space. To keep that second wave of defenders honest for Penn State, right? Like you want to make sure you've got some, creative things to throw into the blitz, some quick outlets for TJ Finley to get the ball out of his hands on those early downs, so that you can get into 3rd and short and you've got the entire playbook. Because if you're in 3rd and long, it's likely going to be, you've got to win, and you've got to win quickly on the outside, because they're just going to lock up in man and they're going to send people at TJ Finley because he's not super mobile. So the biggest concern for me is just going to be what those first 2 downs look like from a standpoint of not being predictable and just saying we're going to turn around and hand it off for 2 straight downs. Then hopefully we've done a good enough job to get in 3rd and short or go ahead and get a first down. Are we going to be creative in the first 2 downs to allow us to be in a very comfortable position on 3rd down where you're not relying on TJ Finley to make 3rd and 7 or longer plays? Because thus far this season, he's been good in those scenarios, but he hasn't been blitzed a lot in those scenarios. What they've been trying to do is play coverage on the back end, and he's done a decent job of diagnosing where he needs to go because he's had time. Manny Diaz isn't going to take that chance. He's going to send guys at him. He's going to make TJ Finley have to diagnose where the pressure is coming from and make a quick decision. And if he can be accurate, there's going to be opportunities there, right? There's going to be opportunities for runs after the catch, that sort of thing. But he's got to make the right decision. So for me, it's about 1st and 2nd down creativity in those play callings and not becoming predictable in that, so that you're giving Penn State things to think about on the defensive end.
Any thoughts, B, before we move on?
Yeah, I would ask T. Frank. So, I mean, you've had to see Robbie Ashford get on the field, flash some athleticism, in the first 2 games. But it's also got to be obvious to you, like it is to us, that the coaches don't want to trust him with the whole shebang. So if you are the Penn State coaches, and maybe you've had the chance to ask, I don't know, how seriously do you think they are taking the prospect of Robbie Ashford not only showing up for some plays, but doing some things at quarterback that we haven't showed so far?
So James Franklin starts every Tuesday press conference with his opening statement, which has gotten shorter over time, but it is a thing that I think a lot of people actually tune out. And he goes through the previous game. He goes through the weekly, players of the week, from the players of the game all the way down to the developmental players of the week on the scout team and the guys like that. And then he'll go into the opponent and he'll discuss the coaching staff, what he knows about the team, players that they have in common in recruiting and stuff like that. And he discusses the players that stand out to him on film and stand out to the staff. And first off, they recruited Robbie Ashford. And secondly, he was one of the first names that James Franklin said. So they take his athleticism very seriously. And how could you not? Right. I mean, he is breathtaking speed. The way he moves, it is so graceful and so fluid, and it's so fast. The question is, does he have control of all of those abilities to make it work as a quarterback? Watching him throw, sometimes his mechanics are pretty poor. I mean, why is your leg swinging out like that? Why are you not setting your feet properly? Why are you not, if you're going to be a linear thrower, be a linear thrower. If you're going to be a rotational thrower, be a rotational thrower. Don't do both. So from that perspective, I think that showing more and him doing more obviously is always a threat. But the real threat to me when I watch him is that ability, in the zone read option game, and then some just quarterback designed runs, because getting in space, I think he's very dangerous in space. Can you keep him contained? That's going to be, I think that's the goal for this game, is keep him contained and then force them, if he's going to be on the field, to throw the ball in more situations, right? Build in more of those plays to force him to be a quarterback, because you're denying him the easy read to keep the football.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Good stuff. T, how are you doing on time? Are you good so far? We may ask you to hang out with us a little bit longer. Let's go ahead. If we don't have anything else here with the matchups, we're gonna take some comments after the giveaway, and then we're gonna get into facts or not. So definitely hang out with us a little bit longer, T. And I think it's time for us to give away a T-shirt, isn't it, Ike?
Yeah, definitely that time.
Just in case you've forgotten, due to all of what we've been discussing, we're giving away an orange T-shirt in honor of this upcoming weekend. This is the giveaway, sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up to enter the win. If you ain't done it right by now, guys, I mean, too late. Too bad, because Ike's about to pull it.
Yep, let's get to it, man. We're going to give away another T-shirt sponsored by War Eagle Oil. Hashtag get your weight up in the comments. If the person's not here, we will draw again. But for right now, our winner is Don Wingard. That's a new name for us on the giveaway. So, Don, if you are here, make yourself known. Otherwise, the chat will definitely do it for us. So we're definitely appreciative of everybody who's gotten an opportunity to get into these giveaways. T. Frank, this is what we normally get into a big fan question portion. Oh,
before you do that, do we want to grab these supers real quick?
Yeah, we can do the super chats first. Go ahead.
Let's grab these just because we appreciate you guys super chatting us. Due to this segment, we needed to get through that before we answered those. I believe this is Caveman. I'm an Auburn fan since Bo Jackson, but I'm another Penn State graduate. I hope Penn State goes 11-1, and this is the one they lose. My question: do you think Auburn can win if Auburn loses the turnover battle this week? I'm going no.
Yeah,
that.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a chance that Auburn loses the turnover battle and wins this game. No.
Yeah, this is when it finally catches up to you. I mean, I think it said a lot about our opponents that we were able to lose the turnover battle week after week and still win the games we won. I don't think we'll be fortunate doing that again this week or moving forward in our schedule. John Brannon, must be honest, the Penn State mascot is scary. Didn't know if you had any thoughts on that or not, T. Frank.
He used to be scarier. They used to be much more realistic about the lion. Now he's friendly looking comparatively. Like they had a lot of realistic teeth, a lot of realistic eyes. It was a little disconcerting.
Gotcha. Big D in Birmingham. If the media keeps talking about the orange jerseys, it's gonna happen.
I don't know that they're going to consent to media pressure. I think it's more so the players have been advocating pretty hard for it. So that is the possibility of the orange jerseys in my mind.
And the right guys too. Some of the leaders on the team calling for orange jerseys. So we'll see for sure. We'll see. I mean, we did some different stuff with the face masks last year. So who knows? We'll see on Saturday. Blake Kraft, $50 super chat. Appreciate you. Consistent QB play. 1 TD and 4 interceptions isn't cutting it versus Penn State in the games coming up. Consistency like Will Rogers would make this team look different. I believe either of our guys can be that step up. I agree. One touchdown and 4 interceptions is not gonna, that type of production is not gonna help us moving forward. We're definitely gonna have to see better production in the weeks ahead. Let's see here. I think I got rid of one accidentally. Jazzy Joe says, gotta go. We'll check out the rest in a couple of hours. Challenge. Does Auburn defense get its first interception against Penn State? Group answer.
Well, since we're the only two here, I'm going to say yes, we get our first INT this week against Penn State. I just think that Sean Clifford is prone to throwing one in the wrong direction every now and then. And I do anticipate us putting more pressure on him this game than we did in the last. So we're just going to give him more to deal with. I think we get our first one this week.
I'm going to go. Yeah, I think we get an interception from him. I think we do. Blake Kraft. T. Frank, is this year's Penn State team better than last year's? I know you're missing a weapon at wide receiver pertaining to Dotson there. Sounds like y'all have reloaded. Your thoughts on this year's Penn State?
I want to say considerably better, but I will stick with just yes, strongly better. They have some young pieces. So there's a lot of freshmen that have clear and obvious talent that's better than what's ahead of them, but are they ready to take that step right now? Singleton is, and then some of the young guys that we've talked about. I think Fashanu is super talented. Last year, Rasheed Walker, despite being one of the best offensive linemen from his draft class or from his recruiting class, being very talented physically, just didn't put it all together. And they've got more options and opportunity to be better on the offensive line. And then defensively, it's the scheme, I think, is a change, but that secondary has a chance with 4 guys at safety you're going to see play. I know they lost Brisker there, but there's some other guys there that are super talented and are young and are getting in. So how are they going to acclimate? So they are more talented, but Auburn would be catching them at the right time in the season for all that to not hit perfectly like it might later.
Gotcha. Appreciate
and
that.
just so we know, Dawn is here. to claim her prize. So Dawn, thank you so much for always tuning in to the War Rapport. You need to send us an email as always to business at the War Rapport. We need your address and your t-shirt size in order for us to get that out to you. So thank you so much, and we'll get that out to you ASAP.
Okay. Let's get back to it. We got a few more we got to tackle here, guys, before we get to facts or nah. Appreciate the super chats, guys. B Will's forehead says orange jerseys are silly. No pads, jerseys or pants, just orange shoes, helmets, gloves, and a whole lot of orange body paint. Orange field 2, 15-0.
Imani Smoots tweeting that, messaging from somebody else's account with the 15-0
Hey,
there.
the optimism gang is growing.
Yeah.
All right. So I love to see it. Jazzy Joe says, his question was for 200. So we pick.
So if
yes.
Sean Clifford throws an interception, we win $200. Come on, Sean.
Come on, Sean. Help a brother out. Much to T. Frank's dismay. Help some brothers out real quick.
He'll do it without pressure. By the way, he threw one.
The Purdue game,
beautiful pocket. No one within 5 feet.
Yeah,
he overshot that one in the Purdue game by at least 5 yards.
For sure. Burner account, appreciate you, says Oregon has a uniform game on lock. It didn't help much against the Dogs, though. True story. Melandro Calagine Chambers says, I think we see a lot more Robbie in the zone read. Thoughts about that, Ike?
A lot more. I think is relative. I think that you will definitely see Robbie in the zone read. I've said before that I think that that's the best option for them. Other than, I don't like, the just quarterback power type of stuff that they run, where it's just a straight up QB run. Draws maybe, but not something where it's just like a sweep where they direct snap it to them as if it's some sort of wildcat thing. I'd like to see him in the zone read just to give that second level defender or defensive end something to think about. Because I think that helps us be able to set up other things off of that are a little bit more effective. But I do anticipate that they're going to get a healthy dose of that, depending on how Robbie's feeling, right? Like he was hobbled at the end of the last game. So but they're going to definitely throw it out there because it's going to be needed for a change of pace. So he's averaging right around the first game. He had 20 snaps, something like that. The second game, he had something around 9 or 10. So he's probably going to be right there in between those two this coming game.
For sure. Joe Kyle says, great session with Mr. T. Frank here. Very helpful for understanding the upcoming game. They're loving you out here, my guy. They're loving you. Daniel Mitchell says, is this a do or die game for Auburn?
No.
I don't think so.
Game 3 of any season is not do or die, especially non-conference. No.
Yeah, I understand with what's going on this year and what happened in the offseason, like big games like this put a lot of pressure on the coaching staff. But again, we lost last year to Penn State and went on a tear throughout the month of October. So to say that this is a do or die game, or this is a game that our season hinges upon, as important as it is, I don't think that it is, because we can definitely improve after Penn State, regardless of outcome. All right. Ike, are you ready to transition us, sir?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. T. Frank, if you want to stick around, we do a segment called Facts or Nah. So it's just a quick, we ask a question and your response is either yes, that's a factual statement, or nah, that's not going to happen. Then we'll get some questions from the fans to be able to do that same thing. So if you're down for it, stick around. We're going to do Facts or Nah right now. As always, this is going to be sponsored by the Rogue Shop. So we're going to do Facts or Nah Penn State edition this time. You all get your comments ready in the comment section. We'll volley a couple of questions around here. Again, this is sponsored by the Rogue Shop. You make sure that you check in with them at rogueshop.com. Use code RAPPORT when you're making your purchase. But let's get into this Facts or Nah style right now. All right, so I will get it kicked off like this. So we're going to go facts or nah. Auburn wins the time of possession battle in this game. C-Dub, what are you feeling about that?
I'm going to have to go facts on that, but in order to do that, we have to lean heavily into the run game. We can't do what we've been doing the past week or so. especially last week. So I think we keep it at the very least even to give us a fair shot. We're not built to come from behind. So if Penn State has the ball a lot in this game, T. Frank, it's going to be a good Saturday for you guys. So in order for that not to happen, I'm going facts. Auburn wins the time of possession, but by a narrow margin.
Yeah, facts. Penn State's not a time of possession team. James Franklin has pivoted away from saying it doesn't matter because they've gotten run on a couple times and teams have played keep away, but they're not interested in keeping the ball for an extended period of time. They want to score points. So that's not a battle they're really all that interested in winning too.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go facts on this one as well. I do think that Auburn is going to lean heavily into ball control this game. They're going to play keep away and try to just keep the ball out of the Penn State offense's hands. So I do think that the time of possession battle is something that we're going to win. A lot of that has to do with turnovers, of course, as already stated. So if we can not turn the ball over multiple times in the game, would be the first time this season that hasn't happened because we've had 2 turnovers in both of the first 2 games. If we can not do that, then we'll be in a position to do that, because I do think we're going to lean heavily on our stable of running backs. Damari Austin has popped up and been a breath of fresh air as a third back. Sean Jackson is probably going to be healthy and ready to play for this game. Robbie Ashford going to be out there running some zone read stuff. So, and we know about what the first 2 backs are going to be in Tank Bixby and Jarquez Hunter. So I do think the answer to this one is facts. Auburn wins the time of possession battle in this game.
All right, gentlemen, facts or nah? TJ Finley throws for over 200 yards in this game.
I'll let you go first one on. I was going to let Frank go first on this one. Yeah.
I'm going to go facts because you're just going to give up some yards. And this defense, I've been saying for a while that if you're running a zone coverage and there's 3 people in the zone and there's 3 receivers in the route, that's not zone anymore. That's man coverage. You have effectively made. I understand what you're doing, but it's man coverage, and it just takes one guy to break open. It hasn't happened for Penn State yet, but I think that this is going to be the game it does. And that would help Auburn be in the game late.
All right. You asked the question, so I'll go next here. I think facts on this one as well. I think the first game he had an opportunity to do that. He just didn't play much in the second half of that game. This will be the game I think that TJ throws for over 200 yards, mostly because I think that Penn State's going to force him to. I think they're going to do their best to try to take the ball out of the hands of our running backs. And I think that TJ Finley is going to have more opportunities to do that. So I'm going to go facts to over 200 yards for Mr. Finley.
I'm going to go clean sweep and say facts here as well. What I look to see is Keesaw and Harsin dial up some easy throws to combat the pressure that Penn State brings. Mm-hmm. And we've seen them experiment with trying to get our running backs in open space to get them the ball. I think we see some of those opportunities, especially some of the quick, easy throws to get Finley going. I think some of those plays will help Finley settle down. Also can even lead to some big plays as well. I do think this is the game, especially if we win the time of possession. That means we're moving the ball on both sides, running and throwing. I think if we are doing that, that helps Finley a lot. So I'm going to go facts.
All right. I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you come up with a facts or not question here, T. Frank. But what we will do is go. What we will do is go to the comment section and get some of the ones that have been fan submitted. So we'll go to these and see what we've got here. Let's see. Let me go pick out a couple of them here. Daniel Mitchell says, facts or not, TJ Finley has more than 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in this game. What did you guys feel about that one? 2 TDs, no interceptions.
He says more
than 2. So 3 or more thrown touchdowns and no interceptions. What are you feeling?
I'm going to go nah here.
I was thinking, obviously, I'm not from the South. I haven't gotten to say this word before, but nah. Did I do it right? Did I do it right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go no on this one. I'd be happy with him just throwing one in this game. If he gets multiple touchdowns thrown, then I think that we are in a position where Penn State's in trouble, honestly, because especially if he does it without throwing any interceptions, because I do expect for us again to lean heavily into the run game. So I'm expecting more of our productivity to come off of the run. I could see maybe a screen going for a second one, right? Like he throws a screen to somebody and then they just get loose. But I saw an interesting stat. Nathan King posted, I think, that Javarius Johnson is leading the nation in almost touchdowns this year. Like he's had multiple throws that have landed him within the 5-yard line at the end of it, but he hasn't actually scored yet. So I'm expecting another deep throw that almost gets there this year. So or this game. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go no on this one. If he's throwing the ball that much and with no interceptions and that many touchdowns, that's a long game for Penn State fans. This is an interesting one. Chris K jumps in and says, facts or not, Calzada throws more than 4 passes in this game.
If he throws more than 4 passes in this game, someone's injured.
That is exactly the answer I would go with.
So I'm going nah.
Yeah,
I don't want that to be the case.
Or somehow this is a blowout win, right? And even then, I think that Robbie's going to get the opportunity to get more snaps at the end of the game. And I don't see a blowout scenario, and I'm hoping no injury. So I'm going to go nah on this one.
I try to be prepared for every scenario, and I heard you talk about Calzada before I came on the show. Still don't know who that is, so nah.
Zach Calzada was the Texas A&M quarterback last year, and transferred in. So yeah. All right, Philip Coleman with something I think that's a little more possible. TJ rushes for 50 yards in this one. Facts or nah?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. I'm going to go nah on this one just because TJ is pond water slow. Like, he's just not like the team speed for Penn State. If he rushes for 50 yards in this game, they were just giving him opportunities to run for no reason whatsoever. They were just like, we're going to run, 3 deep routes with man coverage on the back end, right? And we're going to leak the running back out. And so we've got nothing but green grass over here. And he's going to do that like 5 times in the game to pick up 10, 15 yards with nobody within 20 yards of him. I watched a guy from San Jose State close from 20 yards away, and TJ had a head start to get to the first down and him get chopped down after 7 yards.
Was that on the 2-minute drive?
It was, yes.
I think so.
Can I just? I know I'm.
No, wait a minute. It depends on you're talking about the one where at the end of the half.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't during the one at the end of the half. This was actually in the third quarter. The 2-minute drive that you're talking about, he had 2 runs on that one. The first one, he slid just short of the first down. The second one, he actually picked up the first down on that one. But go on that.
That exchange was so frustrating to watch on film.
I agree.
Just as a guy who loves offense and loves quarterbacks, and watching the player be open in the read you got before the snap, and then to run into a zone coverage in a 2-minute drive and slide. What was that?
Yeah,
like, that was
I
very
thought he should have at least gotten to the first down marker instead of sliding. Like, I get the business decision there.
Yeah.
But him not getting the first down was super frustrating. Like, in the moment, I screamed at my television and I was like, what are you doing? I was like, you got to at least get the first down if you're going to go escape and do that. Now, he did go get it on the next play, but yeah, that was so frustrating for me to watch that live.
I got the next one here.
Go
Lawrence Robinson, facts or nah, Auburn rushes for 200 yards against Penn State. Go ahead, T. I think you already got your answer already.
So I already gave TJ Finley 200 yards. So they're not getting 200 yards of both. So I'll say nah. But now I want to take my other answer back, because I do think they could get to 200, and that's like they'll have 75 yards passing and 212 yards rushing, because that's how they're going to play the game.
Right.
So I'm going to go nah, but this is because I was wrong earlier.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, listen, it's live, so you have to kind of make those decisions in the moment. I'm actually going to say nah on this one and say we get close, because I expect at least 150 yards on the ground. I'm expecting Auburn to put up somewhere around 340 yards of total offense in this game, 350 yards total offense in this game. So that's where I'm getting, possibly 200 and 150 combination there. So I'm going to say nah on the 200 yards rushing.
I'm going to say nah just because I would think Penn State is going to sell out to stop
100%
this facet of our game. If we, with Penn State selling out to stop the run, still get the 200, I think it's going to be a long day for Penn State.
Yeah, that's I don't see a world in which they sell out against the run and we still rush for. If that's the case, again, we're talking about a blowout win. I just don't see a world in which they load the box and dare us to throw the ball and we still run for 200 yards. Right. That's a lot to ask a defense to give up. I mean, that means broken tackles. That means guys just taking wrong lanes and we're breaking long runs. And Penn State's defense has not been that bad against the run this year for that to be a thing where I think it's going to happen. So I'm going to go nah.
Rod May, facts or nah, Damari Alston runs for a TD. Damari Alston is our third string running back, by the way, T. Frank.
I'm going to say nah on this one. I don't know that he'll get enough touches. I mean, there's a scenario where it could happen. The only way I see Damari Alston having a feature opportunity in this and rushing for a touchdown is there's an injury to one of the first two. Again, or we're into this blowout scenario again where he's running the ball at the end of the game and we're up by 3 scores or something like that. So I'm going to go nah.
He's the guy he scooted through for a 35-yarder last week, right?
Mm-hmm. That's him.
Yeah,
that's
he's a good back. Yeah.
Oh, he is. Yeah, I am very excited
that's our
about
freshman
the
running back.
Of Damari Alston in the next couple of years in the Auburn jersey. But I do think the plan right now is to redshirt him. So I don't know that he's even going to get a lot of time in this game.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't think. I think especially if you get in short yardage situation, we already got running backs to carry the ball. So I just don't see Damari Alston getting a lot of opportunity. He didn't get a whole lot in some of the easier games, so I don't expect him to have a bigger role in a bigger
absent
game.
Of an injury. Again, Damari Alston probably does not touch the field much, just because I do believe the plan is to redshirt him.
All right. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. Facts or not, Shedrick leads wide receivers in yards this weekend. I am going to go nah on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go nah as well, but go ahead, see my bad.
I'm going VAR on this one. I'm looking for us to potentially take the top off the defense. Javaris Johnson has been our best receiver to help with that. So I think he will be one of our, if not our leading receiver.
Yeah, I can see Shedrick having the most catches in this game. I don't know that he'll have the most yardage in this game because, again, what I expect to see out of, Manny Diaz is going to be heavy pressure. We're going to play, man coverage on the outside. Shedrick Jackson has gotten a lot better at running those intermediate routes and been a reliable pass catcher. Last year in the Penn State game, he had the most targets in that game, but they were running him on go routes and they were trying to make him take the top off receiver. I don't see that being his role this year. I think he's going to be the guy when they're challenging up front. They're just going to try to throw the quick slant to hands catch it, go get 4 or 5 yards type of guy. If they're going to be doing, if they're going to throw into the blitz, Shed's a guy that you want to be able to have him because he's a big body receiver. He's gotten much better at making those catches in traffic. So I think maybe the most catches, not the most yards. I'll have to go probably with someone on the slot like you, a Javarius Johnson or Dawson or even a Coy Moore playing in the slot as a big body slot guy maybe. But yeah. You have any thoughts? I don't know how much you even know about our receivers to even answer that question, T. Frank.
They haven't had a lot of work in the film I've been watching.
Factual. Factual.
Yeah. I'd say that the guy running those routes you're talking about has been the target against the defense so far for Penn State, where Purdue was able to get some in cuts against zone coverage in the first game. So any in-breaking route, they were able to get that in some timely third downs. And then Ohio slants and stuff like that were where they were getting some of their yardage. Or what happened was in that game in particular, Daquan Hardy, the slot receiver, gave up a couple outbreaking routes. So vertical routes aren't great here, but if you have the time to get those in-breaking routes 10 to 12 to 17 yards down the field, sometimes when Manny Diaz is playing that softer zone with the blitz behind it, you can find some of that. But I mean, it took Aiden O'Connell throwing it before the receiver had even left the station to be able to get the ball there on time. And that sort of coordination is what's going to take, I think, to get that.
Good ones.
Facts or nah? Auburn running back catches 5 or more passes.
I think this is an easy facts. They're going to throw to the running back quite often in this game. Facts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm going to have to go with that as well. All right, good one here. Oh, here's one from Chris K. Facts or nah? Penn State gets the lead first in this game.
Oh, this is an interesting one because I think I want to go. How good is the Penn State field goal kicker? Not good. Oh, I'm going to go nah then. I think they're going to try to force. I think the first opportunity for Penn State is going to be a field goal. It just depends on who gets the ball first, too. I don't know. This is a tough one. Oh, this is hard to say. I'm going to say nah on this one. I think Auburn gets out to the lead first and gets on the board first.
3-0. Yeah, I'd go with that too.
Yeah. I do think the first points of this game are going to be a field goal, one way or the other.
T. Frank, let me ask you this. So is Franklin going to be really aggressive when he's kind of in that no man's land, or if he's in field goal position? Is he going for it on the road, or is he going to trust his kicker at all?
So Barney Amore is a transfer punter. He has been pretty damn good. I mean, he's put the ball died at the 1 multiple times in the last couple of weeks. The hands unit got down there and they accidentally batted the ball into the end zone when it was going to die at the 1. But he's been really good. So if he feels like they can put TJ Finley at the 1 yard line, he'll punt it. But I do think that he's been aggressive enough in that no man's land where he likes the analytics, what they say about going for it. He's been very aggressive in the past. I think he's learned his lesson a little bit there in terms of when you do have a good defense and you do have a punter, if you can kill a drive with field position, you are giving up the points, but you're virtually guaranteeing that your opponent isn't going to get points. And that's where he's explained his evolution a little bit there. So a tepid answer of, I think he'll be aggressive if he feels like they have a good package and a good plan to get those yards. So I think he will.
Shankopotamus, facts or nah, Auburn will not getting targeting call. This is reminiscent of the targeting call last year against Zacoby, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, gentlemen?
I don't know that there's a way that you can predict targeting, especially sometimes the way that it's been officiated. That's so hard. There haven't been any close calls so far this season. But Zacoby, if I were to pick a guy from Auburn to get as a targeting call, it wouldn't have been Zacoby McClain last year, right? So I don't know how we can reasonably answer that, but yeah.
I think we got time for one last more here. Let's do this. Wesley Hilson, facts or not, AU special teams will be the difference in this game.
I haven't seen anything particularly impressive from the special teams other than, again, I know I'm on the train for this guy, other than Keontae Scott in the return game. I think he's dangerous. I do think that he is going to want to go out there and make a play. So maybe they kick it to him one time and he does something crazy. I'm not saying he's scoring, but maybe flips the field on a punt or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to have to say, I'm gonna go with nah on this one. I don't know that the special teams, it's always going to be important, but I don't know if it's a difference making thing in the game.
I'm gonna go,
but listen, close games, it's always going to come.
I think I'm gonna go facts just because it's a close game. You know what I mean? I think special teams has been kind of a non-factor because we haven't really needed it. So I'm definitely going to go facts here. I don't know if it swings in our favor, but I think it will be a difference in this game. See, Frank?
Sure. I want to do this right. Nah. Nah.
That was perfect.
So here's the thing. James Franklin and the Penn State staff are absolutely dead serious about special teams. So they like I said, they go and find the best punter in the transfer portal a year before they need him. They emphasize it by hiring some of the better special teams coordinators that have go out in the country. So if if there's going to be an advantage to be found in special teams, Penn State's going to try and get it first. So, kind of in the opposite of time of possession, They want field position. They want special teams. The one flaw has been the kicker. Like their punting, their coverage. They find gunners. They got one guy from the track team to come over for a year, and now he's in the NFL. Dan Chisena as a gunner. They'll find any advantage on special teams. So I don't fact. You have to be an elite team with 5-star athletes on special teams returning kicks, really, to threaten what Penn State tries to do on that side of the ball.
Good one. All right. Well, that's going to end it for this edition of Facts and Now. Appreciate you, T. Frank, for following through. We are going to let you get out of here, and we're going to stick around and hang out in the chat for a little bit. So if you guys still have some questions, non-Facts or Now related, you guys stick around for us. But T. Frank, we appreciate you so much, man. Where can people check you out, man?
Yeah. Blue White Illustrated on YouTube. You can search Penn State football. The BWI Daily Edition is my show, Monday through Friday. We do cover all kinds of Penn State football. I'll have the live post-game show. We talk about the game. I do live in-game analysis, and then I bring it to you after the game. So it's what's kind of what you guys do. What actually happened. Yeah. That's what we'll be talking about post-game, breaking all the things down about what happened Penn State Auburn. And again, that's Blue White Illustrated, or you can search Penn State football on YouTube to check that out. And bluewhiteillustrated.com. I don't know why you're an Auburn fan, but you can sign up for $1 and you get 12 months of access to Penn State football. And it's a great deal because we do a lot of great stuff. Best Penn State football coverage you're going to find anywhere.
And we believe that. T. Frank, man.
Appreciate
always
you, man.
To see you, man.
Thanks, guys. It's fun.
All right. See you later. All right, let's get back into some of these questions. Our guy, and again, Facts or Now is brought to you courtesy of the Rogue Shop. You guys head to rogueshop.com. Code Rapport is what you're going to want to use when you were there to be able to take advantage of all of that. But joining us right now, the man Mike G is in the building.
Man, y'all let T. Frank get out of here without me telling him he's a blue and white punk. And I owe him one from last year. I'm gonna hit him up on Twitter. So
your thoughts about you. We've been talking a lot, man. How are you feeling about this game, Mike?
I feel calm. I feel calm because
is there a Rogue Shop involved in this calmness?
Yeah, maybe.
There's some
Bruce Pearl may or may not be a shots guy. Who knew, right? It was definitely encouraging us to go to the bar. But listen, beside the drinks, I will say this is not a do or die game.
That was a question someone asked us in the comment section.
Someone asked us that.
Yeah, we address it on the pod tomorrow morning. Like, I just don't feel like this is a do or die game. It's a non-conference game. And if you were going to lose one early, this is the one that you lose. As long as you don't look bad losing it. See, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see them look like, hey, man, we played 2 cupcakes and now we play a real Power 5 opponent, and then they look very far off from anything.
Right.
I think you can lose this one and recover. This team lost to Penn State on the road, almost lost to Georgia State, and then came back and beat a top 10 Ole Miss and crushed Arkansas, dominated Arkansas last year. Now, some of the players are different, but I think that the potential is the same for this year. It's look around the SEC West, man. Who do you feel like is unstoppable? Because it damn sure ain't Texas A&M.
Right.
Arkansas looks okay. LSU, like, come on, man. Everybody picked Auburn to finish last in the West, and I'll tell you, I feel like Mississippi State, LSU, and A&M all are candidates for that. This year, they are candidates for last in the West. So this can go a lot of ways. Nobody packs it in after game 3.
Right.
That's it. I mean, that's how I feel. That's why I'm not that worried. I'm more worried about how we're going to execute and how we're going to look than I am about whether Auburn is going to win the game or not. It would be nice to win.
Yeah.
But the season's not over in week 3.
For sure.
Mike, who did you left off a few picks of yours? So we gave you the other team just so your score would suffer. But now that you're back, Abilene Christian plays Missouri. Who you got?
Oh, did I leave that one off?
Yeah,
left it off.
Oh man, I think ESPN left it off for me.
I can't tell you where you got your games from.
I saw it on ESPN, so
I pulled up the SEC for this week and then went straight down. Oh yeah, it is. It's right there. I missed it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vandy on the road against Northern Illinois.
Ooh, does Vandy get win number 3 on the season? Hell no. NIU. They fooled us.
I thought he was going to say Vandy. I thought he
Yeah.
was going to say. I thought he was
Nope.
going to say it.
I'm not a Vandy believer. They are the worst team in the SEC by a long shot. And I don't. If they played Central Phoenix City High School, I don't know if I would pick them. Yeah.
B. Will's forehead says, Mike G, go ahead and share with the class a new word you learned on the Discord, and you're not alone. I was saying it wrong. To let's get.
That's true. Somebody watched
Boogan?
Locked On. Yeah, it was. I thought it was Boogan, but it's a boogin. You were boogin, and it is a term. You're boog, or you make a boog comment, BOOG, and it is a term for being an extreme homer. Right. So if I say something,
what is the origin of that?
I don't know. Like I was afraid to share that I didn't know what it meant in the Discord. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like,
no,
I was saying
Don't do that.
like I have
Don't
no
do
idea.
that. Yeah.
They educated me on what a boog was, and I was just like, okay, like yeah, I guess I boog some. I'll be boogers.
Hey, I'll admit to being a homer. I'm probably a little bit more. So I'm always optimistic before the game, but then I'm super critical after it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how you should be. As a fan, that's how you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why. So people have asked, why don't we pick the score of the Auburn game or pick the winner of the game this year like we did last year or like we do with the other SEC picks? Because I'm picking Auburn every game. Like
I don't know about that.
I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to pick Auburn every game.
I don't do that, but
even if
that's right. You were the only one to pick Auburn versus Alabama last year.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Auburn.
Yeah,
so
the only time you did it was Georgia. The only time you did it was Georgia.
Game. Yeah,
but I mean, why would you?
Yeah. But yeah, so in order for us not to be in this space where I have to pick against my team, I'm just going to tell you what are the scenarios in which we do win, as opposed to there's no chance that we win. There's a chance. There's always a chance, but some of them will be very extreme, like acts of God, but chances, right? So yeah, I'm just going to pick Auburn every game.
Philip Coleman has a question here. What do y'all think about Carmelo English
decommitment?
I guess he meant decommitment. I think it's because of how the offense is looking. I could be totally wrong, though.
You're completely wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think it has very much to do at all. See, here's the thing that I think we put too much stock in sometimes is how much stuff like that weighs on commits. I think what commits are looking for is opportunities to play in a particular offense and where they can see them, because it's not really our job as a program to sell them on our winning or how good it looks. It's that we run the type of offense that if you were in that position, you would be doing phenomenal as opposed to this athlete. I think the tougher sell for Carmelo English right now as far is it's just going to be playing time. We've got a lot of wide receivers in this stable right now that are coming back next year. That are going to be playing. He's going to have to fight 3 or 4 guys to get on the field right now, and that's including some other ones that we may be bringing into this recruiting class.
Right.
And then there's some other things that I don't really want to get into.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, I think it was pretty public. He was having a hard time qualifying academically. Yeah. So this was always going to be tough for him. And, ultimately, his decommitment, like this coaching staff, they're really good at letting players own the message.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, the message may sound like a decommitment, but the truth is this is probably closer to a mutual split based on things that he had to get done that, ultimately, I think you're a little closer now to knowing whether he's going to do that or not.
Right.
And if it's does not looking likely, then maybe it's, good for him to commit someplace else because
and it allows us the opportunity to show that we've got room in this class to get some other athletes.
Right. Correct. So, I mean, I'm just in a place where I don't feel bad about the decommitment at all. They'll fill it with somebody. They've had a lot of great commitments so far before the season. Beat Penn State, beat LSU, beat Texas A&M, beat Arkansas, and watch the commitments come in. I think it can happen. Guys, real quickly, I did want to say we got congratulations to Caveman Life Coach on winning the tickets. We had another winner. We were gifted another ticket to the game, and Patrick Rivers, who is a patron, if you're watching, you won a ticket to the Penn State. Uno, just one. We got one ticket to the game was given to us. So if you got a friend that you were hoping to take, get them something for their birthday because they're not going to this game with you. Or give them the ticket for their birthday. But Patrick Rivers, email is business@the-War Rapport. If I don't hear from you tomorrow, I have to pick another patron to try to get this ticket to somebody in time to make it.
Yeah. Also, too, Doug Easom, Adam Hopkins, number 29 wide receiver of the country, is going to commit in the AM.
Yeah. Listen,
I mean we're feeling the same thing.
We're feeling good about that.
Yeah, there's a grand design at work, guys. It's not a coincidence that we're getting a wide receiver commit the day after another guy decommits at the same position.
Right.
So don't forget.
Rod May, how do you guys feel about Rich McGlynn as interim AD? He saved us when the Cam recruiting news broke. Mike, you kind of spoke about this a little bit early in the day on Locked On. Ike, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is, in the age of NIL, having a guy who's intimately familiar with what the rules should be for compliance is not a bad thing, because he can always make sure that our athletes are in a good position to take advantage of things without having to skirt the rules. And he's already got a really good relationship with a lot of people in the athletic department. This is a good stopgap. Now, will it be something that turns into a full-time thing? I don't know. Because again, the AD job is more so about managing budgets and people. I don't know how good Rich McGlynn is at doing those things, right? Like, how good is he at managing budgets and how good is he at managing people? And no, he has the stuff about, relationships, even within the community of people who have the funds. He has relationships with people inside the Auburn administration, and he has relationships with the players. But the people and money management portion is what I have no idea about. So again, will this just be a stopgap measure, or can it turn into a long-term thing? Don't know yet.
How long do you think he's in that role as an interim before an AD is found? What's ideal, you think?
I mean, I think that they need to make a decision about what direction they're going to go before the end of this calendar year. Honestly, like, if we haven't decided if he's the guy or someone else is the guy by January, then I don't think that that's a good thing. I think that means that people are because it's not like Coach Harsin has to do it, right? Like, your primary focus isn't going and preparing football as the president, right? Like, you're not preparing for a football game. So there shouldn't be these huge gaps in how long you have to make decisions around that sort of thing. So I think by the end of this calendar year, we need to have a decision on that.
Yeah, I would just counter. I think that based on speculation from the powers that be about how this season is going to go, you might need to get a guy in place before the end of the season if you expect him to be part of the decision-making process in case in the worst case.
Well, I mean, that's even more reason why the end of this calendar year it needs to have happened.
Yeah. Like, so sometime in the next couple months, right? Yeah, they definitely need to have a guy in place to just be there, to be a part or be a puppet or whatever that this guy's going to be. I feel good about Rich McGlynn in the interim. He seems like a guy with integrity. He has navigated Auburn through the rocky storms of NCAA investigations successfully without a ban on anything or a retroactive ban on anything. And it certainly could have turned out a lot worse. I would point everybody to the fact that Auburn and Bruce Pearl and Rich McGlynn and the decision to self-impose sanctions, a postseason ban on themselves. Now, it worked out because of the way COVID fell, but the NCAA noted in their determination that the decision to self-impose was meaningful in their decision not to hand down any further punishment. And Rich McGlynn was at the center of that. So, fans should feel good about him stepping in the interim.
For sure. Let me grab some more questions here, guys. Valencia Jackson, Mike G, how can we help the charity?
I love this question. So the Outlive event here in DC was put together by a fellow alum and a friend of mine, Nicole. She was not able to attend because she herself is fighting cancer. But tonight was an emotional night since she could not make it. Bruce Pearl spoke on her behalf. Visit BrucePearlFamilyFoundation.com and hit the donate button. And guys, I can't stress enough. Like we've used our platform to try to save puppies, but this is a great cause to support too. And you can go directly to BrucePearlFamilyFoundation.com. Every dollar donated. He told a story tonight. He said the first time they tried to raise money, they raised $12,000. Their last fundraiser, they raised $250,000 to help families who are out of work because they have to go get treatments, and it helps pay bills, and it helps support cancer patients in so many ways. This is a great cause. This is what the Auburn family is about. Get behind this. I think we're blessed to have a coach who supports a cause like this and gives his time. I mean, I think it was funny. They made a joke. Coach Tuberville was there. Our Senator Tuberville was there tonight, and he was talking about how, hey, there's a practice going on in Auburn right now for the basketball team, and Bruce Pearl is here raising money for others. So I think this is the Auburn spirit is all about. Please go donate. Thank everybody who does that.
For sure. Thanks for that information. Grind says 73% of the money line bets have been placed on Auburn.
Yeah, listen, Vegas is funny. So I get the money line bets have been placed on Auburn, but the line has moved. They're trying to sucker people into betting on Penn State, and it's not working. Like the line is moved to 3.5, I think, on Penn State. And nobody's buying it, man. Nobody's buying Penn State right now. So if you don't know how lines and spreads work, it's not, the general spread tells you who they think will win the game, but anything inside 3 points or a touchdown is pretty much a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a toss-up. And
especially when you're like they're only getting 3.5 on the road, right?
Right, correct. Yeah. And the line movement that you see is about betting on each side of the line because Vegas doesn't care who wins the game. They just want even betting on both sides of the line so that the bets are a wash and they make money on the commissions. Just so everybody knows, because everyone's like, oh, the line moved. You guys are freaking out about nothing, man. Vegas doesn't care. What they don't want is they don't want heavy betting on one side, and then that team wins because they get cleaned out.
Right.
You just don't want that. You don't want that at all. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to the line, but I would say I do think the money line bets are a sign that people aren't buying Penn State. It's not about them buying Auburn. It's just nobody's buying Penn State right now.
Yeah. Evan Scott. Evan Scott, appreciate the super chat. What's up with Landon King? Have not seen. Well, actually, we saw a good bit of him.
The interception that Robbie threw, he was targeting Landon King.
He was a target. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So again. A lot of people are looking to get some receptions and get some work, but once we get the QB, once we get some productivity coming from that position, I think we'll start seeing a lot of these guys really show themselves strong. Lawrence Robinson, does Scott Frost wind up on Bama's staff like other coaches?
That seems to be the path to hold us for these guys.
The Saban rehabilitation program. He's
right.
running a rehabilitation clinic. I don't know. I think he's definitely redeemable. Certainly, I think his days as a head coach might be over.
You think so?
Yeah, I think his days as a head coach might be over. This was a colossal.
How old is Scott Frost?
Young.
Yeah, not old enough to not ever have a coaching job again. This was a complete disaster in Nebraska.
47.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he coaches at the Power 5 level again.
So I could see that. I
can see that
P5, but freaking.
I can see him going to a Group of 5 school though.
Yeah, I don't know what Scott Frost's ego is like, so I don't know if he'll take the step down or take coordinator position at under somebody like Saban. All right, so we'll see. He's an offensive guy, is he not?
Yeah,
an offensive guy.
QB.
Yeah, so I could see him if Bill O'Brien decided to move on or go back to the NFL. So.
Todd Jordan asking me, why are the gray names chatting? Well, this is actually open to everyone on our lives.
Subs, but yes, if you have to at least be a subscriber to chat in on this one. We don't shut down the Wednesday and Sunday shows to just members. So
Todd said, "What's up with the peasants in here? Who are these non-believers?
Who let y'all in here?"
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Any other thoughts, Mike, before we get out of here, sir?
I do want to address this comment. You should not be shocked at this. Josh Pate is probably the most rational national college football guy out there. I mean, his takes are pretty. I've heard people say, "Oh, Josh never criticizes anybody." I say he just isn't rushed to unfair criticism, and I like Josh Pate for that. He's come on our show many times, and I will tell you, you shouldn't be shocked that Josh Pate picked AU. But he also, I think, is very aware of what Penn State is and knows that there's a lot of talent on this Auburn team. And if they pull it together by game 3, Penn State's in a world of trouble trying to win this game. So if anybody thinks that Penn State is walking out with a win, an easy win, I think that's a bad bet. Of course, anything can happen. I'm unsure about the status of some players for Saturday. So we'll see as the week goes on what the coaches put out. But ultimately, any bet on AU shouldn't be a shock for anybody at this point, and that's my closing statement as well too. Any belief in Auburn at this point just shouldn't be a shock. That shouldn't. Auburn, I think, has the ability to win every game on their schedule outside of Georgia and maybe Bama. Those are the only 2 games that I will have a hard time picking Auburn in unless something significantly changes between now and Georgia.
Yeah.
The rest of them are all coin flips, if you ask me. And does that mean I think we're going 10-2? Not exactly. I know they're going to lay an egg versus some teams. They're going to lay a frustrating egg versus somebody. I just hope it's not Missouri. I hope it's not Mississippi State. And I hope it's not this year's version of Texas A&M. I got stomach losses to Ole Miss and Arkansas, possibly. It's been a long time since they lost to Arkansas, too.
Yeah.
2015. Yeah. 2015 since they've lost to Arkansas. So
for sure. Ike, man, we've been going 2 hours, man. This has been a lengthy show, but a good one nonetheless. Ike, tell the people why they need to become a patron right now.
Because you want to be in the good graces of Todd and be able to chat amongst
judgmental Todd.
Nah, Todd's my guy, man. I hope I see you down there this week, and bring your Penn State fan friend with you. I'm sure that he wants to have a front row seat for what's going to be going down at Jordan-Hare. But $5.99 gets you to patron level, and just to be a member and talk to us on game day and really just get your frustrations out, or come celebrate with us, and we can do a virtual toilet papering of the camera or something together. I don't know. We'll just figure that what our celebration is going to be virtually for those that can't be at the game. But anyway, membership is going to allow you to do that on game day. And as well, when you get to the patron level, you'll get post-game reaction film breakdown with me and Mike G. We're doing that on Mondays after the game. So you want to be a member to be able to get that kind of stuff. And you need to be a member in order to get tickets. We've got the LSU game tickets that are going to be coming up soon. Missouri tickets, if you weren't already a member, you wouldn't have been on the list to be able to get those. But LSU is the next home game to round out that 5 home game stretch to start the season. So there will be a slight break after the next giveaway before we give away some more tickets, but you have to be a member before the Wednesday show next week to be able to get in on that one. If you're not a member, maybe somebody wants to be nice and gift you a membership. Again, shout out to Daniel Speller for doing that for our members this week, gifting some memberships. If you want to do that, you can absolutely do that from a desktop. Outside of that, you guys already know that we are the War Rapport everywhere, man. We're on podcasts as the Auburn Express, though, so you can listen to audio versions of this content. We're going to have replays of this in audio format coming up for you guys on the Auburn Express starting on Thursday. Tomorrow, Mike Mack and Memes is going to be going live on there. That is an audio exclusive thing, so you can only hear that on the podcast. If you guys want to be able to catch that, make sure you catch that on the podcast there. And if you didn't get an opportunity to win the shirt today, you can always go to our store. warrapport.com is where you want to go. Click on the shop to be able to get in and get some merch from there. and support us in that way if you can't do the membership thing or you don't want to do any sort of the donations or things like that. But do definitely head over and get some of that merch there from us in that fashion. But head over to the website. We've got a lot of other content that we're dropping over there. So thank you for those of you who have been going and checking out our content there in written format. We are going to continue to bring that kind of stuff to you all. Appreciate y'all very much.
Indeed, indeed. And guys, before you get out of here, you know what to do. Share this video, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to us. You can find us on social media, guys, Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook at The War Rapport. We are TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys. We will definitely catch you this weekend on game day Saturday. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.